So now that we have done ratios, we've done ratio tables, now we're going to work with rates. The good thing is that even though rates are a little bit different, you do solve them using the very same method, so that's good. A ratio of two quantities using different units is called a rate. So this is when you're comparing two quantities that have kind of like nothing to do with each other. Like before we were comparing things like red marbles to blue marbles. Either way, they're still marbles. Now we're comparing like things that could mean like different times. For example, Bob can read 20 pages in a book in 5 minutes. As a rate, you would write 20 pages in 5 minutes. So we're comparing two different units. One is pages and one is minutes. The two different units are pages, make sure you write this, and minutes, okay? A unit rate, this is the most common thing that you see, is a rate that compares a quantity to one unit of another. To make a unit rate, you divide both of the numbers in the rate by the unit you want to become one. Examples of where you would see a unit rate all the time is speed limits, like 35 miles per hour. Per hour means per 1 hour. That means in 1 hour you should be able to drive 35 miles if you're consistently at that speed. So a unit rate is comparing to one other's unit. So for example, we could take the one about reading. So if Bob can read 20 pages in a book in 5 minutes, how many can he read in 1 minute? We want the minutes to become 1. So since the minutes was 5, we're going to divide both numbers by 5. So you end up getting 4 pages per minute or per 1 minute. That's a unit rate because you're comparing it to 1. All right. Equivalent rates have the same unit rate. So for example, 8 pages typed in 16 minutes is the same thing as 4 pages typed in 8 minutes because both of them are equal to 1 page in 2 minutes. So if they both have the same unit rate, then they're equivalent rates. So for example, Julie can run 3 miles in 30 minutes. How far can she run in 50 minutes? So this is like the middleman thing that we did before. We have 3 miles in 30 minutes. They want to know how far can she go in 50. Well, 30 doesn't go into 50, so we can make a unit rate. So we divided the bigger number by the smaller number, got 10, just like we did in the last lesson, put a 1 next to the smaller number, and that means she runs 1 mile in 10 minutes. Now you can use the unit rate to solve for 50. 10 times 5 is 50, so 1 times 5 is 5. So if her unit rate is 1 mile every 10 minutes, then she can run 5 miles in 50 minutes. So this is using the middleman again because 30 didn't go into 50, so they did that little division trick to get the middleman and then use that to solve it. All right, so let's try some from the book.